we are going a different route. Now, instead of bleeding this out and making you wonder what I'm gonna go with, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. And I cannot wait to get it on the car. And what is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Guys, it's been a little while since I made a video. One of the reasons being is I lost my voice last week. Just one of those things. If you did my live Thursday, it's kind of going in and out there, playing with me. But anyway, another reason being is I've been waiting on some parts to get the car to where I wanted it to make this video for you guys. But however, with all the snow that we've gotten down south, the Memphis FedEx hub has actually shut down, and my parts have been at the Memphis FedEx hub since last Sunday, and this is a Sunday later when I'm making this video. So it's been there for a week. So I decided, instead of making you guys keep on waiting for a video, I would go ahead and kind of talk about what's going on with the car now. So if any of you have been on my social media, you know that we have removed the twin turbo kit. Yes, we removed the twin turbo kit. I sold the twin turbo kit to a gentleman in Middle Tennessee for one of his customers, and we are going a different route. Now, I have been contemplating selling the kit for a little bit to go with a supercharger. Ever since I've been installing the Pro Chargers, the Whipple, the VMP, and everything like that, been kind of wanting to go that route. Now let me explain why. The main reason being is with the twin turbo kit, even with my small turbos, they came on, there was hardly no lag to them. However, they still would not leave on boost like I wanted to get the 60 foot down like I wanted to, without me putting a pretty big stall in the car and other things, bring it up on boost on the line to be able to launch the car like I need to. So I decided that I would rather go with a supercharger setup that will allow me to come out of the hole without having to have an aftermarket converter and other things that would kind of affect the way it drove on the street and the way it is. Because I absolutely love the way the car is now, and I wanted to keep that. I've driven some stalled cars, and you know, I'm not really a huge fan of it. It's not a deal breaker, but at the same time, if I had a buyer for the twin turbo kit and I had the ability to go to a different setup, it all kind of played out really well for me. And so I decided to go ahead and do it. And the main reason I did it now is I had a serious buyer for the twin turbo kit, and if I decided to do this down the road and I did not have a serious buyer, it's kind of like when you have a car and you're contemplating selling the car. Do you go ahead and sell the car when you have a serious buyer, or do you wait and decide to sell it down the road and you don't have a serious buyer and you gotta wait till you find one to sell it? So since I had a buyer that wanted the twin turbo kit, I went ahead and removed it. I actually drove it down to him Wednesday, and it started snowing. We was only supposed to get 1 to 3 inches. It was in a forecast. We ended up getting over 6 inches. And luckily, we had bought a 2020 F-150 four-wheel drive FX4 and kicked it in four-wheel drive, got there safely, delivered the twin turbo kit to the gentleman, and drove back safely, and everything was great. So really good time to actually buy the F-150. So what are we going to go with on this car? Instead of bleeding this out and making you wonder what I'm going to go with, I'm going to go ahead and tell you. We've already purchased a Whipple 3.0 kit with a 10 rib setup, with a Cobra Jet Cold Air intake setup, and we're going to be running it on E85 out of the gate. I'm going to go ahead and purchase a fuel system to run E85. Now, in the meantime, we will be running naturally aspirated until I get the fuel system and everything else here for the Whipple setup. So the Whipple setup is a used setup. It's been on someone's car for about 1,500 miles, barely driven it at all, and he decided to go a different route. And I will show you guys that when he brings the car in for the installation of the new forced induction. He's changing it up, and you know, it's right about the time that I had the offer on the table for the twin turbo kit, so everything kind of played in for me to be able to buy his Whipple setup, and I went ahead and jumped on it. So we'll be putting that Whipple setup on the car. As soon as I get everything together, we'll be going to that. But until then, we will be running E85. And I do have the parts that I'm waiting on that's at FedEx is Cook's 1 7/8 headers. I bought Cook's 1 7/8 headers. If you remember the Pro Charter car, I'll throw a card up right here. I installed Cook's 1 7/8 headers on that car. I love the fitment. I love, you know, the easy installation, the fitment, everything else for the Cooks. So I decided to go ahead and go that route with the car, and a Whipple setup. So as soon as we get the Cooks in, we'll be going back on E85 naturally aspirated, and then from there we'll be going to the Whipple setup. Now, if you guys remember Derek Sizemore's red car, I actually got to drive it down a drag strip with a Whipple setup with a 3.75 pulley on E85 with stock suspension and full interior, and I was going to put that run in right here. We're gonna pass in Derek's car. I'm gonna run it down the track, see what we can get out of it. Guys, I can see my 60 foot going down the track. That was a 148 60 foot. 633. 633 at 114 mile an hour. Woo! This thing rips. 633. Yeah! Alright guys, so here it is. 633 with the 148 60 foot at 114 mile an hour. So as you can see guys, very little done to the car. Stock suspension, stock converter, you know, E85 setup, really easy setup, 3.75 pulley I believe, 13 pounds of boost. Went a 148/60 with just brake torquing at like 1600 RPM. You know, didn't really stress the car out at all. And you know, that's kind of where I want to take the car. But guys, stay tuned. We are going to have a lot of fun with this car. Just because the turbo's left does not mean the fun is over. Actually, it's going to get pretty fun with the Whipple setup on it. I cannot wait to get it on the car and to be able to run it. But in the meantime, we will be going back with the Cook's 1 7/8 headers, naturally aspirated on Daryl from Wengerd Tuning's E85 tune. And then once we get everything to put the Whipple on with the E85, we will be putting the Whipple on the car and then going from there. I appreciate all your support. Appreciate all you guys subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned. We're going to have a lot of fun with the car. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see you next time.